Hi guys, it's Trisha here at Homemade Homestead, and it's an August day in North Carolina. So it's extremely hot, it's extremely humid. Extremely sweaty and icky looking, so sorry about that. But we are right in the middle of hauling compost up our hill to our garden. Our garden is at the front of the property in our front yard, and so I decided real quick to do a video about what we're doing about the compost and how we deal with that. A lot of people have different composting methods, and some of the composting methods to me seem kind of intense and a lot of work. And with everything else that I have to do, homeschooling, 5 children, the homestead, I try and make certain things as simple as possible, and compost is one of those. So basically, I don't really compost food. I'm going to switch hands here. Over here, I don't really compost food. This is our compost pile that right now we're digging into and hauling up the hill. I compost animal waste. I don't worry about turning in greens and browns and all of that. All food scrap go to the animals. They get to eat the food scrap. Chickens, ducks, goats get to eat banana peels, things like that. They love that kind of stuff. So we basically give them food scraps, and then they recycle it to their waste, which is incredible fertilization for your garden. So in the goat yard, our dry pasture, dry yard is pretty good size, really good size for our 7 does and 1 little mini horse. And I am able to clean up the barn, clean up Ritzy, our mini horse's poo piles every day, and I just pile them in this one section of the goat yard. And they don't mess with it. They don't want to lay on this pile of poo. They don't want to eat from it. They don't mess with it. It makes it easy for me to clean up the poo, clean out the barn weekly, and instead of having to haul it really far away, I just haul it right over. See, if you see, my barn is right there, so it's not far. And then I just haul it right to here, and we start a pile, and we build in one pile for about 6 months or more, and we turn it ever so often, but very rarely. And when that pile starts to get too big, too high, then I just pick a little bit further up section and start a new pile. And within 6 months to a year, I'm taking this stuff to the garden anyway. And so right now we're working in the garden. I have some areas that I pulled up old bush beans that have just got done, and I want to plant another round of bush beans. And the cucumbers didn't do great. Not exactly sure why, but they didn't do great, and I got what I could get off of it, and now I ripped them up, and I'm going to try another round of cucumbers, which, because we live in North Carolina, we have a much longer growing season than a lot of other states. So I should, without a problem, be able to get another round of cucumbers. If I plant them right now, plant them today, I should be picking stuff end of September, early October, mid-October, and it's still warm enough here that they should do fine. So one benefit of living in the South, this heat is a killer, but long growing season is a huge blessing. So I'm gonna walk us to the front yard where we're going, and we're hauling this compost. My boys are using the 4-wheeler with a garden wagon, and they come down here and they fill the wagon, then we take it up into the garden, and I'll show you what we're doing up there. So I'm gonna walk. I can never figure out, once that option disappears, to turn the phone around. I can't get it to turn back around. So we are walking. I'm going to turn you around so you can see. We're walking through what is trying to be a pasture, a grazing pasture. And this property was filled with scrub pines. So years and years of pine needles, really acidic pine needles, kind of killing the soil, making it really hard for things to grow. So we're working on this area and hopefully going to have a really good grazing pasture in here that eventually will be great for rotating goats and the mini horse. And but that's what we're walking through right now to get to a gate up here. Right up here, but this goes to our front yard. And you can see my boys playing on the 4-wheeler since playing on the 4-wheeler since they know I'm doing this right now. So we're gonna walk up to the garden. I'm trying my best not to make you guys motion sickness doing this. Okay. So really sunny day. I mean, it's beautiful, but boy, it's humid. It's hot and humid. So, okay, so we're coming up here to the garden. Yeah, kind of change our angle this way. We can see our garden is literally our front yard. It's the whole front of the house. And so what we're replanting today is we're replanting bush beans. These are rows that I put the bush beans in. And so we've got nice brand new compost on these. We're down to this row right here. And the wagon is here that we're shoveling out into make our rows. So the other areas that I want to refertilize is right here. I want to cover this whole section in fresh compost to replant my cucumbers and grow the cucumbers on these cattle panels that we have staked here. My tomatoes are doing pretty well, but I have been struggling with some blight, and I'm removing those leaves. I mean, they're still producing, but I do want to refertilize the whole area in front of the tomatoes with some fresh compost and help them out in that way. So this is basically how we grow our garden. I let the animals eat the food compost. They turn it into black gold as far as I'm concerned, and we haul it up here after it's sat in the pile down there for a few months or so. We turn it, get to the center of it where it's nice and hot and breaking down, and bring that up here and just lay it on thick and plant directly in it. And it works. I haven't had a problem with this. I mean, we have weeds. Everybody has weeds. I wouldn't say that ours are worse than anybody else because we're planting in fresh compost. Especially since we're letting it sit down there for 6 months or so. It's kind of, all that's broke down. I don't ever have any weeds grow in that compost pile, so it's not growing anything anyway. But yeah, so this is what we're doing today. Today's project on this really hot, sunny day. And one of the reasons my garden is in the front yard is we're on a hill. This is kind of the most level area that we have, and the front yard gets full sun all day. So great for the plants, not so great when you have to work in the garden in the middle of the day. There's no relief from the sun whatsoever. But we're gonna get this job done. We're gonna get this whole center bed recomposted today. Maybe, depending on how long this takes, maybe I've got some other areas over here that could use some fresh compost that we might put some on. And always work to be done. As you know, if you've already started this life, you know it's never a day that there isn't something that you can be doing to improve your homestead. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Feel free to comment, or if you have any suggestions. I'll be honest, gardening is not my passion. The animals are my passion. The animals I do out of love. The garden I do out of necessity. I don't know how many other homesteaders out there are like that. I think we all have our kind of niche, and we do the things that maybe aren't our niche because it is a necessity to the homestead. And so the garden is not my niche. I'm not like a super big green thumb. I think that God blesses me and allows us to grow food, and it does fairly well, but I'm sure I could make it do better. I just don't, I mean, I do a lot of reading, but not all of it sinks in when it comes to the garden. I feel like all the animal information sinks in a lot better for me. But yeah, so any suggestions, I'm always open to suggestions about gardening and things that we could do to make it better. And otherwise, feel free to subscribe, look us up on our Facebook page, Homemade Homestead. We always have new posts and updates on there, including posts that talk about the animal care classes that we offer, and animal processing classes that we offer. And yeah, that's a great place to go and find out all that information. And also you can message me through Facebook to ask questions or get more in-depth information about the classes. So hope you all have a great day. I'm going to get back to it, get back to hauling manure and get this area done. So talk to you later. Bye.